This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're here, finally, Adam, Cardiff, kicking off an amazing schedule on Sky Sports this month. As I said to you before, one of the best months you can remember on Sky Sports.
Certainly is. Since I walked into the building, August 1994, we've had some fantastic fights, nights, weeks, months, of course, through all our different promotional partners, through all our different stars and heavyweights and everything, and all sorts of nights that we've had on Sky. As a month, no, I think this has got to be right up there. February 2022, you look at it, this weekend we've got a wonderful, wonderful British duel between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams, a 50-50 fight that everybody's asked for in the trade, and we're getting it. And we're getting it in the Lions Den in Cardiff, and the atmosphere is going to be electric. We also have one of the greatest sports people of our time, the incredible, charismatic phenomenon that is Clarissa Shields, on defending her world treasure. And she was the star of the show today at the workouts. She stopped traffic, training in her slippers. She's unbelievable. And we also have Caroline Dubois' professional debut, not to mention matches with Ndongo and Jenkins and Rhys Edwards, who I think is going to be a real little star. Steve Robinson, the big heavyweight. We've got a bit of everything. And the great thing for me, Umar, is we're back in Wales. It's been too long. We haven't had a big show in here in a long, long time. This is a great show. This is great, and it's fantastic. Enzo Macronelli is going to be joining us on commentary. They're all going to be here. Steve Robinson. I wish Joe was here. I've got a big soft spot for Cardiff and for Newbridge. I've got family from Newbridge. I love it down here. It's a very, very fervent crowd of support. We've had wonderful, wonderful fighters in Wales, from Robbie Regan to Gavin Rees to Nathan Cleverley to Barry Jones to Gary Lockett, who was in this ring here earlier today. There's so many. Steve Robinson, the Cinderella Man. It's Nicky Piper, Lee Selby. I mean, it's a who's who in the last 20 odd years, but we haven't had a big show down here. It's been far too long, Umar, and I'm delighted we've got Ben and Wasserman and Dimitri all working together to deliver it for Cardiff on Saturday night. And don't forget, we've got the Premier League darts tomorrow as well. It's all happening this week in the big city of Cardiff.
It absolutely is. You mentioned Dimitri Salita there, bringing Otto Wallin to this card as well. Good to get a heavyweight addition on.
Listen, when Ben said to me, we need to get Otto a fight at some point, I'm like, right, bring him on, bring him along. I love Otto Wallin. Great fighter, fantastic, southpaw, great heavyweight, only one loss to Fury. I've said to Ben I want to see him in with Hughie Fury. That'll be a great match. Listen, it's great to have Otto on the card, just adding more sparkle to the occasion. Absolutely brilliant. And Caroline Dubois' professional debut and her sort of hero in Clarissa Shields above her on the card. It's a great night, and it's a great way to kick off, as we've said, what is a fabulous February.
Where do you think the loser goes in this one, Adam? Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams.
It's a really good question. Listen, if it's a phenomenal fight, you can always do it again. I think it's a tough one to come back for if it's one-sided, if it's an emphatic victory for either. I think it's tough. It's probably more pressure on Chris Eubank Jr.'s shoulders. He's 32 now. He's talked the talk for a long time. He's there or thereabouts, but he's not had that real standout win. Yes, he beat James DeGale, but James was on the slide. George Groves and Billy Joe beat him. Yes, tough fights and all the rest of it. But if he's going to become a world champion, if he's going to go down as a really, really good fighter, he's got to be dealing with Liam Williams. And that's a tough ask, because Liam Williams in Cardiff sees this as his home world title fight. And he's bang up for it. And he's got Adam Booth. And he looks in fantastic condition. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one for the loser. But then it's going to be a pretty tough one for the loser in Manchester in 2 weeks on Saturday as well. So, this is what we want.
Well, we shall find out. Tune into Sky Sports to do so this Saturday night. Now, I wanted to keep you kind of short, so we'll have a more in-depth one tomorrow with you and Johnny. But yeah, Adam, obviously breaking news on Friday. The whole boxing world was captivated online when Frank Warren won the Fury-Whyte purse bids for $41 million. What was your initial reaction to it?
Wow, that's a lot of money. My dad called me up, it was like, wow. It was, listen, it's the biggest purse bid ever. I think, congratulations to Frank. Fantastic win. Great win for him. obviously teamed up with Top Rank. It's a strange world, isn't it? Because obviously Top Rank are our promotional partners, but the fight's on BT Sport box office. But I'm really pleased the fight's happening. That's the most important thing. Tyson Fury, we got to see him come home. Number one heavyweight in the world at the moment. Who knows what happens by the end of the year with Usyk and Joshua and everything else. But Tyson Fury's the man. He's done it over in the States. He's coming home. Great, whether it's Wembley, here, Manchester, wherever it is, in April. Great to have Tyson Fury homecoming. Wonderful to see Dillian Whyte finally getting his opportunity. He's waited a long time. He deserves it. He's going to give it absolutely everything. And it's the fight we wanted to see. And I know there was the talk of the Usyk-Fury fight and the step-asides. I'm actually really pleased this has happened because let's get this. I know AJ wants to try and exact revenge on Alexander Usyk. You get these two big fights, hopefully both in Britain. Fantastic for fight fans. So yeah, my reaction was great. I think well done to Frank Warren. Eddie put in a huge bid as well. You know, he got some good results last week. He put on Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. He announced that, an incredible fight, amazing fight for the global world, especially with all the work we've done on female boxing. That's brilliant. He also signed Claudia Fay, which was a big signing for him. So he had a good week until the end of it when Frank, you know, showed there's, I wouldn't say life in the old dog because that's a bit disrespectful to Frank, but he's still there and thereabouts. And he's got, you know, a great stable on BT and he's got a great stable on DAZN. We're building a great stable on Sky. Happy days for fighters and fans, Umar.
Definitely is. Adam, I will have to ask you, so we know obviously the relationship between Eddie and Frank isn't the best, so we didn't really expect negotiations or a deal to be reached for Fury-Whyte. Whether your guy, as in Ben Shalom, promoter of Boxer, was in the end actually your new partner.
Yeah.
Was actually representing Dillian and did put in a call on Friday, day of the purse bids, to George Warren and Frank Warren to try and make a deal. What was your thoughts on that?
I'm not really involved. I mean, Ben is the promoter. Obviously, he wants to be sitting at the table with the heavyweights. He wants to be, you know, he's very, very ambitious. And he's got the keys to Sky Sports for 4 years. And together, the two of us have worked night and day, and literally night and day, to build us back and where we are, sort of not even 6 months in, really. And we've got this incredible, you know, lineup in February. We've got some fantastic fighters. It's great having sort of Savannah and Tasha and the Azim brothers and you know, and so many. And we haven't stopped there. We've got Fraser Clark and Caroline, you know, turning professional. And there'll be others, you know, following us to Boxer and Sky in the coming weeks and months. But no, I'd heard that he was sort of talking to the teams. But, you know, I don't know. I thought Eddie was Dillian's sort of man. He's guided him for so long. We had that great relationship on Sky Sports. You know, Dillian was brilliant for us. I love Dillian Whyte, and I'm really, really pleased he's got this opportunity. But I don't know whether he's a free agent. You know, he's looked after by his team, and I don't get involved in that. You know, it's I'm just really pleased the fight's happening, and if Ben happens to be part of that, or he's just sitting watching on television, it's a great fight. We know it's on BT Sport box office, so it's not a Sky Sports box office fight, but it's a fight we should get behind. It's a great happening for the heavyweight division, as well as obviously Anthony Joshua's return, which we'll hopefully be learning about soon, and hopefully will be on Sky.
Absolutely. You did say the fight's happening. Having said that, we haven't heard anything from Dillian, and there are reports going around last night that he's still demanding more money. Don't know if that's true or accurate at all. And by 21st of February, if he doesn't sign the contract, the fight won't happen. The WBC put that out. So, but you know Dillian, surely he's going to take this fight, Adam.
Absolutely, 100%. I would be gobsmacked if Dillian Whyte turned down this incredible opportunity of becoming the world heavyweight champion on British soil against Tyson Fury. He's called out Wilder, he's called out Fury, he's called them all out for so long. Why would he back off now? Okay, they're probably not happy at the 80-20. They always want more money. And you know what I'm like, I believe that fighters should be paid, you know, everything they can be paid, but you know, there's rules, and that was the rule, and it seems to me that Tyson's going to get a ton of money, Dillian's going to do pretty well, and look, that's his opportunity of becoming the man, and then he can write his own checks, can't he? I would be absolutely amazed if Dillian Whyte didn't take this fight. I'm very disappointed too, because we've waited a long time for this moment, and he should do it. You know, he deserves it. He's fought everybody. He wrote the wrong against Povetkin. He's been brilliant for British boxing. We now want to see whether he can beat the man and become a world heavyweight champion. He didn't get past Anthony Joshua. That was a long time ago. He's an improved fighter. We'd happily see that fight again. AJ looks to have business still with Alexander Usyk. If that's the route he's definitely going, we still wait for an announcement. There's the training situation with Anthony as well. But for Dillian, I think it's got to be all about Tyson Fury and trying to find a way to beat him. That's what he said he's going to do. Why would he back out now? He's getting paid for it. I would be really surprised. I'm sure he's just trying to fight for a bit more but when it comes to it, if he's not signed that fight by February the 21st and he gives up on this, he's not the Dillian Whyte I know.
Now, Adam, we know this will do incredible business in the UK. Frank said to me, a bit optimistic maybe, but could happen, over 1 million pay-per-view buys, he believes, on BT Sport box office. We saw that Matchroom...
Do you think he would do that on Sky Sports box office?
Definitely would.
So I think it would as well. So it's not a Sky Sports box office.
But my question was going towards, we saw Matchroom and Queensberry put in a bid,
yep.
But we didn't see Boxer and Sky Sports put in a bid. To your knowledge, what was the reason for that?
Look, I think we're building blocks at the moment. You've got to remember where we were last summer, as we had an exclusive relationship with Matchroom, which came to an end. Everything we did was with Eddie, and now it's completely different. We've got a top rank relationship, a partnership, where we can get the majority of that, but we don't have a deal with Tyson Fury because he's with Frank in the UK and he's with BT. But of course, we're partners with Top Rank. So I think in a way, that was Top Rank and Frank's bid to win or lose. We knew Matchroom were going to bid hard and aggressively. It was going to be a BT Sport box office fight. So and it's worked out. It could have gone to DAZN, could have gone to Eddie, but it didn't. It went to Frank and Todd, and I had Todd on the phone straight away going, boom, look at that. And I'm pleased for him. He's my partner now, so good. And I'm pleased that Tyson Fury is going to come back and fight in the UK. So I've been waiting for it for a long time.
And my last question before we speak tomorrow, Adam, as you said, your promotional partner is Top Rank, and I spoke to Bob on the weekend, an interview that gathered a lot of talk afterwards for some of his comments about women boxing. I'm sure you saw them and people have asked you about that.
With
them? Well, no, I don't, but that's Bob and his views, and as Sky and Top Rank are partners, I would like to get your view on those comments.
Listen, absolutely. Bob Arum's a legend of the sport. He's put on some of the greatest fights and worked with the most incredible fighters, and we've got a wonderful relationship now with Top Rank. I mainly have a relationship with Todd DeBerth. He's been speaking to me regularly, but I love Bob, and Bob is. I remember when Bob and Don King came together, and we never thought that would happen in Memphis. And they look like they're old sort of sparring partners, and they became best mates. For about 48 hours. It's a funny business. He's got a fight that night with Shakur Stevenson, a great fight. And it's the old promotional trick, isn't it, to sort of try and dull down another fight to big your own one up. You can't dull down Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. It's a fantastic fight for boxing, period, full stop. Congratulations to Eddie for making that fight. It was a fight that Katie's wanted for a long time, and it's a fight that Amanda Serrano wanted. It's a brilliant fight. Likewise, we want to make Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall here in the UK, providing they both win this weekend and on March the 12th. Women's boxing is absolutely flying. I'm a massive advocate of it. So, do I agree with what Bob said? No, I don't. Do I find it wrong? Yes, I do. He does say controversial things at times. I think I'm more interested in when I see Michaela Mayer this week, who is their flag bearer of women's boxing at Top Rank. She's a wonderful advocate for the sport. She's a brilliant fighter, and I'm sure she's very disappointed in what her promoters said. But look, maybe Bob regrets it, maybe he doesn't, maybe he's putting attention to his fight, maybe he just thinks that, look, men's boxing is for him better than women's boxing. For me, not a chance. I've been a massive believer in women's boxing ever since I went to the 2012 games. Before that, with Jane Couch, who badgered me time and time again to get her on. But probably then the competition wasn't as good. But I went to the London 2012 games with Johnny Nelson. We sat there and watched Tasha Jonas and Katie Taylor, fight. It was one of the most incredible atmospheres. I was lucky enough then to work with Savannah for a number of years. It's brilliant. And look at our stable of female fighters. We've got Caroline turning pro on Saturday night. You've got Clarissa Shields, one of the greatest sports people in the world, on our stage, on our platform on Saturday night. Absolutely, the women are flying. You wait for Caroline Dubois. You wait for, Karis and Lauren are going to turn pro soon. It's a brilliant, buzzing time for women's boxing. So no, I'm not going to get involved in what Bob should or shouldn't have said, but I know what I believe in, and it's not that.
Adam Smith, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. As I said, no doubt we'll catch up tomorrow. Everyone tune in live on Sky Sports this Saturday. A cracking main event and also a good card as well.
Cheers, Umar. Thanks, mate.